Hey guys, what's up again? It's Dan from CryptoCamacho.com, where each day I teach you how to make more money in cryptocurrency. Guys, today I want to talk about a very strong cryptocurrency that has recently seen gains of a couple 100%. And I think that we are still at the early days and we're going to see some more upward movement in the long term. So what am I talking about, guys? I'm talking about TRON. I'm talking about TRX coin. If you've been following TRON at all, if you've seen what's been happening in the cryptocurrency world as of the last few days, last week or so, it would be hard to miss TRON. So TRON has skyrocketed, right, from just a couple pennies, or actually sub-penny, couple cents, all the way up to about 30 cents, approximately 30 cents, and then now quite a bit, lower than 30 cents, excuse me. And what's all the hype about? What's all the hubbub about? Like, why has TRON recently just exploded in price? If you go and look over at CoinMarketCap right here, TRON has now hit the top 10 list on CoinMarketCap in terms of market capitalization, right? We're at $10 billion for TRON, behind Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and some of these others. But literally, a month and a half ago, TRON was completely unheard of. It was a completely unknown coin, a completely unknown business, and all of a sudden, it's now in the top 10 on CoinMarketCap for market capitalization for all of cryptocurrencies, right? That is pretty astounding, right? So what is the deal with TRON, guys? I mean, what is TRON doing that has made this price explode? Sure, there's definitely some fear of missing out. There's definitely anticipation that the price is going to go up. There's definitely some pumping going on from some of the influencers in the industry. But there's definitely got to be more than that behind TRON, right? This is not one of those, shit coins, if you will, that's not going to go anywhere. TRON actually has a business plan, has a well-educated, well-seasoned team behind it. And let's take a quick look at TRON, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. I think TRON is really positioned in a good place right now and is still very undervalued for at least what their vision is stating. So here's the TRON website, guys, and what it says up top. It's a decentralized, trustworthy application, smart contracts empowered by blockchain, digital values issued and obtained by everyone. A next era of Web 4.0. This is very key, guys. Let's take a second just to dissect this, because this is important in how you will understand TRON and what TRON is. I see a lot of people making videos about TRON on YouTube, and I see a lot of people talking about TRON. And honestly, they have no idea what TRON is actually trying to do. They have no idea what the technology is trying to solve for. And they have really no idea why the company even exists. And they're really doing reviews purely based on technicals, like in CoinMarketCap, right? The market capitalization, the volume, blah, 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 which is good. I'm not discounting that. Those things are all good and dandy and great. But you really need to truly understand the technology of TRON and what they're trying to do to really understand what the potential of TRON is. So that's what I want to try to break down in this video with you guys. I did some technical analysis on TRON in one of my previous videos, but I really want to break down what the concept of TRON is and what they're trying to solve for. So let's take a quick look at this, right? The next era of Web 4.0. We'll come back to that in a sec. Let's keep going down the site and let's just read what TRON is. TRON is a blockchain-based decentralized protocol that aims to construct a worldwide free content entertainment system with the blockchain and distributed storage technology. That's pretty key too, guys. The protocol allows each user to freely publish, store, and own data in the decentralized autonomous form, decides the distribution, subscription, and push of content, and enables content creators by releasing, circulating, and dealing with digital assets, thus forming a decentralized content entertainment ecosystem. Paywall app has over 10 million users and will become the first TRON-compatible entertainment app. So really, it says it all right here in this statement, guys. I know this statement is a bit heavy. It's very difficult for a lot of people to understand, especially if they don't have experience in a technical field or they aren't technical themselves. This is very hard to understand, but they do say it all right here, and I want to break it down for you guys. So first, I want to just let you know what this app is. So the Paywall app is really like a Snapchat. It's like a Snapchat competitor in China. If you look over, let's see. Okay, so the founder of Paywo right here. Justin's company, Paywo, is one of the founding members of the National Internet Finance Association of China, the organization, blah, 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 blah. I wanted to show you guys where it was, but basically just take it from me that, and you could look this up on your own time. But really, the Paywo app is basically a Snapchat competitor that China is rolling out, and now TRON is trying to leverage for this content distribution ecosystem that they're trying to build out. So let's break this down in terms of what TRON actually is, guys. It's a protocol that aims to construct a worldwide free content entertainment system with blockchain and distributed storage technology, right? So think about it like this, guys. They're going to allow any content producer or creator or publisher to essentially store their content, whether it's text, whether it's audio, whether it's video, whether it's any type of coding language, whether it's whatever type of digital asset that may be, or whatever type of digital content that may be. TRON will allow you to store that in their ecosystem. They will tag that content. They will associate that content with the user that created or produced that content. And then they'll be able to use that content within their entire ecosystem. So as they connect with things like the Paywo app, with Snapchat, with the Facebooks, with all these different media companies out there, right? And there's a lot of them, the NBCs of the world, the CBSs of the world. They'll be able to use this content in any form they feel viable to push a particular message, or to push a particular marketing program, or whatever it may be. They'll be able to use your content in this distributed network that's decentralized, and they'll be able to basically infuse your content into any of these other entertainment systems and ecosystems and networks that exist today, right? So imagine if I created a video, or I created a podcast, or whatever, a white paper, right? I can push that into the TRON ecosystem. They can associate that with me, that Dan, Crypto Camacho, created that piece of content. But then they can use that content in any one of the networks or any one of the partners that they have in the ecosystem. They can then use that content, leverage that content, do whatever they want with that content, right? And the end user, me, the creator of that content, will be the beneficiary of any revenue or monetization that happens with that content, right? So anytime somebody wants to use your content, they'll need to essentially license it from you through the TRON network and be able to use that, and you'll get paid some sort of revenue stream or currency from this network. And most likely that currency will be in TRON, TRON cryptocurrency, right? I'm sure they're going to support a number of other cryptocurrencies, but essentially TRON is going to be the main coin that they're kind of building this ecosystem around. So hopefully that helps with kind of the touching of it, right? So let's dig in a little more, right? So the protocol allows each user to freely publish, store, own the data, and in the decentralized autonomous form, decide the distribution, subscription, and cost, and push the content and enable content creators by releasing, circulating, and dealing with digital assets, forming a decentralized content entertainment ecosystem, right? So think about this. If they get a number of content producers and creators on this network, on this ecosystem, and they get some big players on this ecosystem, think of how they could then start moving that content around and programming that content, programming, what do you want to call it? Programming like artificial intelligence around that content to basically put it where it needs to go in their overall ecosystem, right? So that's kind of one aspect of it. And let's keep going down and let's look a little bit more at what TRON is. This is about the team. You can read about the team here a little bit later. Let's see. Here's how their core values are setting up. It's kind of their bill of rights, if you will, for how they're going to handle content, how they're going to treat content. And you can read through this and you can get a better idea of what I just was talking about. Here again, as a decentralized content protocol, TRON is of the following 4 basic characteristics compared to the centralized internet. This is also very important, guys. The first one, data liberation. On a free and uncontrolled basis, the contents including characters, pictures, audios, and videos may be unloaded, stored, and spread. Content enabling. Digital assets are obtained through provision and spread of contents, thus economically stimulating the enabling of content ecology. That's very important as well. So let's just go through these. Data liberation. On a free and uncontrolled basis, the contents, including characters, pictures, videos, may be unloaded, stored, and spread. So this is what I first said, guys. They're going to take content from content creators, content producers, and they're going to store it on the blockchain, and they're going to make it freely accessible to everybody, right? The next one, content enabling. They're going to allow content producers to provision their content, to basically rent out their content or license their content out to other, content consumers, if you will, right? So that's kind of what the content ecology, that's what they're talking about there. Personal ICO. An individual may freely distribute digital assets in the form of an ICO, while others may enjoy the benefits and services brought due to the continuous development of data contributors by purchasing digital assets. So it looks like right here what they're essentially going to do is they're going to allow you to create personal ICOs based on the content that you produce. So for example, if CBS created a number of content assets, they can put this in the blockchain, in the TRON ecosystem. They can then create an ICO around that to enable other people to buy in on their content and create their own ecosystem around their subset of content, right? So they're enabling content producers and content distributors to essentially create a currency-backed ecosystem around the content that they produce. This is big, guys. This is very powerful for companies like the CBSs, the NBCs of the world, all these big major media outlets. This is very big for them, right? It's another way, it's another business model and another way that these companies can take advantage of the content they create and monetize it. That's the key here. TRON is setting up the infrastructure to allow these big media companies to take their content and essentially to rewrap it and then to monetize it in different business models today, okay? So keep that in mind as well. Next, infrastructure. With distributed digital assets will be equipped with a complete set of decentralized infrastructures, including distributed exchange, autonomous gaming, forecast, and game system. This is basically just talking to you that they're creating the ecosystem, the infrastructure around what I've just been talking about, guys. So let's dig deep into this a little bit more. Let's see here. Okay, so this really breaks it down right here, guys. If you just read up above and what I just went through, this really kind of breaks it down here, but I'll try to explain it a little bit more, and bear with me. This video might be a little bit long, but I really want you to truly understand what TRON is, and I'm going to show you some more examples of how revolutionary this, this can become here in just a moment. So one, Exodus. So data liberation, a mechanism of upload, storage, and distribution, which is based on peer-to-peer and distributed content. In the Exodus phase, on the basis of distributed storage technology, TRON will provide users with a completely free and reliable platform for data publication, storage, and dissemination. So they're essentially creating a digital asset management system that is built in the blockchain as a distributed ledger, a decentralized distributed ledger. They're going to allow users or content producers to put their content there, to store it, to manage it, to publish it, right? So nothing really groundbreaking right there. That's existed before, but it has not existed in the blockchain. Then we go to 2, Odyssey. Content empowerment, economic incentives, empowerment, content ecology, and blockchain technology will create a fully competitive economic mechanism with fair returns for content creation, distribution, and dissemination. Therefore, individuals can be encouraged and contents can be empowered, thus constantly expanding the boundary of the system. So they're basically saying here is that they're going to allow content producers to then use that content and leverage that content to create new economic models, to create new content ecosystems, to create new ways of distributing the content and getting paid or incentivized to actually share and use that content through other channels, right? So that's kind of what they're saying right there. Number 3, Great Voyage, personal ICO, which I just talked about. Based on the advantage of blockchain, TRON solves 3 major issues: income measurement, dividend payment, and management of supporters, and achievers significant transformation from the fan economy to the fan finance. So this is kind of like a way that they're going to basically take crowdfunding to a whole new level, right? They're going to look at the assets that you have on the blockchain ecosystem, and they're going to say, okay, this person has X number of assets on the blockchain ecosystem that we've created. They have X amount of content, right? Then that content producer will be able to take that content and they'll say, I want to create an ICO around this to raise money to do some sort of innovation around that content that they've produced, and basically enabling other people to then use that content and them getting paid for it in their own type of monetary ecosystem that they've created, right? Hopefully that makes sense. It's a little confusing, but bear with me here. Next, free movement of value. Decentralized token trading exclusively for individuals to reach the goal that each content producer in the TRON system can issue their own tokens. The system must have a complete solution for decentralized tradings. So this is big, guys. So if you heard a last video I made about smart media tokens, if you haven't, you should go look up smart media tokens. But what essentially TRON is going to do, after they build this infrastructure, right, they're going to enable content producers to create their own cryptocurrency, their own tokens that can then be used to create their own business models, their own paradigms, right? And essentially their own businesses around the content they produce, right? So let's just say, hypothetically, let's say I have 10,000 videos and I have, 5,000 podcasts and whatever. I have 10,000 videos in this ecosystem, right? These 10,000 videos, maybe they're educational videos about math, about how to learn math, right? 10,000 educational videos about how to learn math, right? So maybe, teachers and schools want to use that content. Maybe, tutors want to use that content. Maybe tutoring programs want to use that content. Maybe high schools want to use that content. A number of folks may want to use the math content that I've produced with my 10,000 videos, right? So I may say, okay, you guys could use my content, but in order to use my content, you actually need to purchase it in the coin that I create. So I will create an ICO, I will create a cryptocurrency, and I will say, in order to use my math content that I created, you need to buy my cryptocurrency, right? So essentially, anybody that wants to use that content will buy my cryptocurrency, bringing the value of my cryptocurrency up, right? The more people that buy into my cryptocurrency, the more people can use the content. The more people that support it, the more people that get on the network, the stronger my network becomes, the higher the value of my content and my cryptocurrency become, right? The more I can charge to give it out. So this is kind of how it's working, guys, and this is what you're going to start seeing popping up, and hopefully that makes sense. For the big media publishers and big media producers, this is very big, right? They don't have to create this infrastructure. TRON is doing it for them. This is going to be very, very big for them to create new business models that they've been waiting for a very, very, very long time, right? If you look at most of the media outlets in the world, they have either consolidated or gone out of business because of the internet. They have completely reinvented their business models based on what's happened with Web 1.0, Web 2.0, Web 3.0. We are about to enter a phase of Web 4.0, which I'm going to get to in just a moment to show you how profound this could actually end up being. Let's keep going through this. Star Trek. Traffic monetization, gaming of decentralization, and market forecast. The size of global gaming market, blah, blah, blah. Make it possible to build on online gaming platform. Developers can freely build online gaming platforms through TRON, fully autonomous and prediction markets. That's another aspect I'll have to get into a different time. And then traffic conversion, decentralization of the game. Okay, so this is, again, something else I will have to get into in a later time. But I really want to go back and go through up here a next era of Web 4.0, guys. So before I jump into this, let me just show you one thing here. So if we go over, and I want to just, again, explain what TRON is. I really, really want you to understand what the TRON company is trying to accomplish. Okay, so here's just an article that I'm reading. This will give you a better idea of what TRON is. So the TRON token tracks users' entertainment behaviors, shares credit value data with apps within the TRON network. TRX is additional values of the information storage and identification, which records about user acquisition and TRX spending stored in the blockchain. Core information will be accessed by all TRON apps, blah, blah, blah. While TRON will support all kinds of virtual currencies, as the official currency of the platform, TRX will be used in the conversion and circulation of the entire world's virtual currencies in TRON. Sun, boldly added, Sun is the founder. We are very confident that TRON will reach a target of 1 million wallets registered within a year. The first million registered users will be rewarded with considerable TRX tokens by registering on the TRON platform. And let's read a little bit further and then we'll stop, guys. Nowadays, as entertainment apps and systems have short monetization cycles and life cycles, individual developers cannot store or maintain users' credit information in a particular entertainment system. So every entertainment system is almost like an information silo. Before TRON, a global digital entertainment system would be faced with various problems in respect to payments. For example, if Iranian wants to buy digital product from Japan, it is a problem for the user to pay in Japanese company in question. The payment chain and procedure are prolonged, as it is impossible for a user to open a bank account in Japan, blah, 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 blah. So what TRON is essentially trying to do is set up the infrastructure to allow anybody to do these types of things, right? Anybody, any entertainment company, any content producer, right? They're trying to allow to do these types of things, to create an ecosystem around the content they produce. And the added bonus is that TRON will be tracking everything within this network, right? And this is where Web 4.0 comes into play. And this is why it's going to be very, very powerful. So guys, let's break down really quickly. It says on their website, a next era of Web 4.0. So what's Web 1.0? What's 2.0? What's 3.0? Let's break that down really, really quickly here, guys. So here's a little picture. Actually, let's just go back over here. Here's a way to kind of, actually, here's a picture that really kind of describes it quite nicely, right? So Web 1.0 was the web, right? It was just web pages, like static web pages, right? If you remember, they were just static web pages. You didn't see any type of programming in the websites. You didn't see, banners changing a lot. You didn't see a whole lot of that. Static web pages, right? It's a read-only web, right? You just go to the web, you see it. What you see is what you get. That's it, right? It was just to share information back and forth between people, sharing information, not doing a whole lot more than that. You have personal websites, which was kind of the main thing around Web 1.0. And then all of a sudden came along Web 2.0, which is basically the social web, like the Facebooks of the world, the Twitters of the world, the MySpaces, right? Now, rather than just reading what's on the internet, you can actually read and write what's on the internet, right? You can go and read somebody's blog post, and you could comment on that blog post. You can then go to, maybe a video, and you can share that video, right? You can share it with your friends and family. So Web 2.0 really brought the social web into mainstream, right? You can now read and write on the web. Not just read it and read a web page, but actually read the web page and interact with that web page. Like it, share it, comment on it, whatever you want. That's what Web 2.0 did for everybody, right? It connected people together. It connected people in a way that has never happened before. And a byproduct of that were Facebook was produced, right? Blogs were produced, Twitter was produced. All these different social network sites were produced. And look at how much those companies have grown because of the Web 2.0 infrastructure, right? Now, Web 3.0, which is currently the phase we're in of the web, it's called the semantic web, right? You can read the web, you can write back and forth on the web, and you can execute on the web, right? You can write code that executes different commands on the web based on user behavior, based on data, based on traffic volume, based on all of these different factors. You can now interact with the web like you've never been able before, right? You can do personalization. So if I go to a website, what I see is different from what you go to a website and see, right? If I go to Amazon and I'm looking for shaving equipment, next time I go to Amazon, I'm going to see shaving equipment, right? Because they're trying to pitch me. If my wife goes to Amazon, she's going to look at maybe clothes, right? And the next time she goes to Amazon, she's going to look and see clothes, not shaving equipment, right? That is the semantic web. That is Web 3.0, the ability to program the web and to be able to personalize it and customize it for different personas that are actually interacting with a particular website, right? That is Web 3.0. So think about it like, all of the different things Google does, right? Personalizing ads, personalizing all the things Amazon does, the different products you see, retargeting ads, things like that. I have a background in marketing, so this is very, very relevant to me. But now, what is Web 4.0? What is Web 4.0, and how is Web 4.0 going to change everything, right? Here's a really good breakdown of kind of everything I just went through. Web 1.0, the read-only web, it lasted for X amount of years, and kind of this is what it was. Web 2.0, social community explosion. Web 3.0, immersion and virtual web, basically, the semantic web. So Web 4.0 is essentially when the interaction between humans and machines is driving the force behind 4.0. We might still well be in Web 3.0, but Web 4.0 is coming, and it's coming fast. Facebook recently launched Agent M, an artificial intelligent agent on chat, and we are all aware of Siri, right? So Web 4.0, what Web 4.0 is going to do is it's going to bring together the best of Web 1, 2, and 3.0, and it's going to basically put it on steroids. It's basically going to start taking artificial intelligence, taking machine learning, and trying to make sense of all of the data that you see out there. It's going to start trying to make sense of it all, and it's going to start programming that data in ways that have never before been done, right? It's going to start, making recommendations based on previous behavior. I mean, Google's already doing this quite a bit. LinkedIn's doing this quite a bit. Facebook is doing this quite a bit. But they're essentially trying to program the web to be able to use all of the inputs it's getting, user inputs, third-party data inputs, trending, inputs, all these different types of data inputs, and program the web in a way that's relevant for only you, right? And so what TRON is trying to do, they're saying, okay, we are going to take all of the content that's being produced by all of these media publishers, all these media outlets, all these individuals that create content on the internet. We are going to create an infrastructure, an ecosystem for that to allow people to put their content on our ecosystem to then be able to disseminate, distribute that information, that content to anybody who wants to use it. We're going to then be able to track the behavior around all of that content. And we're basically going to be able to, using artificial intelligence, we're going to be able to identify, where the needs are for that content, who might want to use that content, who may gain benefit from using that content. And all of a sudden you have a scenario where, there's an engine, a very strong engine or ecosystem behind TRON, which is constantly recommending and pushing content to content publishers from content producers, and then paying back the content producers with how the content is being used. So they're developing a very smart, artificially intelligent ecosystem that not only understands what content is in the ecosystem, but what users actually produce that content and where that content is being used in the overall internet world, where it's being used, and then being able to track payments back, micropayments back to users that individually are creating that content, right? So it essentially creates new business models all across the table in many, many different ways. So if you were skeptical about TRON, I hope you're not now. The potential for TRON is massive. Whether or not they'll, whether or not they'll be able to pull off what they're trying to do is something else. But their vision is spot on. Their vision is worth gold, and just their vision alone, makes me understand why there's been such a large increase in price just in the last, couple weeks with TRON. Again, whether or not this will pan out the way they want, I don't know. They do have a great management team, but the vision is solid. It's spot on. It is very, very, very good. It's very, very smart. And I'm going to be holding TRON for a while now because of this, because I understand what they're trying to do. If you go to, other YouTubers out there and they say, oh, TRON, it's had a huge pump and it might dump now, based on the chart and the technicals, that's fine. It may very well drop, right? But if they pull off what they're trying to do, it's going to be valued much, much, much higher than where it is right now. Even up there with kind of the IOTAs of the world. I don't know, whether IOTA will be bigger or not, but this is truly a massive opportunity if they can pull off what they're saying they will pull off. I hope this has been helpful for you guys. I know it's been a long video. Hopefully for those of you that have stuck through the entire thing, understand kind of what's going on and what TRON is trying to do. I'm Dan from CryptoCamacho.com. I hope this video has been helpful for you guys. If you have any questions about TRON, please leave your comments in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel right there. You see that little red button there. I'm Dan again. I'll talk to you guys next time. See ya.